First tonight, to that rare voice of dissent from inside the ruling APC party, one that refuses to be shut down. Senator Ali Ndume is one of Nigeria's most popular lawmakers, a politician who has made a habit of saying out loud what many in power would rather keep buried. From insecurity to taxes to 2027, his one-man revolt against bad governance has struck a chord with the public and unsettled the political class. And tonight, Senator Ndume turns his focus back to his home region. He says Borno State and much of the north are still bleeding heavily from insecurity, and that the military is missing a critical window. With the dry season offering clear visibility, he's urging an all-out offensive against terrorists, but is also warning that soldiers remain under-equipped, under-protected, and inadequately trained for the fight they're being sent into. And he's taking aim at the federal government's new tax regime, calling it fundamentally flawed, whilst delivering a blunt warning to his own party, the APC, that any attempt to declare victory in 2027 without the people's mandate will meet resistance, especially in the north, where he says people feel betrayed by elite defections and political survival games. This is not opposition rhetoric. It's an APC insider speaking like an outsider. And for more on this, I'm joined now in the studio by the political Lone Ranger, former Senate Chief Whip and lawmaker representing Borno South, Senator Ali Ndume, a lawmaker whose name carries weight far beyond the Senate floor and who is surely one of the most recognizable voices in Nigeria's National Assembly. Thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Well, you started this year with a strange name you gave me.
The political Lone Ranger.
You called me Lone Ranger and you said I'm a rebel, you know. But
to be honest, those are terms that the public can relate to, because the general impression is that people like you raise the bar of propriety. That's why you're a Lone Ranger, not because you're out on a limb, but because you stand out from the rest, because of what they believe to be your fidelity to propriety.
Well, I'll take it as you said.
It is a compliment of sorts.
You think so?
Oh, definitely.
Okay, I take it from you.
Now, let's good to see you, by the way, and this is the first time I'm seeing you in 2026.
Yes.
So even though we're well into January, I must say Happy New Year.
Thank you very much, Charles.
Now, you've said the dry season offers a clear tactical advantage to the military in the north. If visibility is better now, you've just come back from Borno State, what exactly is stopping the military from launching decisive operations in Borno and the wider north?
Well, the handicap of the military is still the same thing that I've been talking about, but the situation has changed and also improved. But it is not over until it is completely over.
Indeed.
Now the dry season is set, is in. And that means visibility in the north is clearer. And the Nigerian army, with this new collaboration, intelligence sharing, and even to some extent, equipment support.
You mean with the Americans?
With the Americans.
Right.
Has enabled the Nigerian armed forces to go into, especially in the north, east. That is where I come from. That is what I know that is going on. There is visible improvement in terms of the war against the insurgents.
Right.
The Nigerian armed forces have been able to go into the 3 black spots, Sambisa, Mandara Mountain, and the Lake Chad Triangle, Lake Chad region. But they still need what I call team. Training, equipment, motivation, and ammunition. the Nigerian military, I'm telling you from more or less an insider, because I have been part of it. I was chairman.
Well, you were chairman of the army, weren't
yeah,
you?
before,
Yeah.
and I'm still a member of the chairman
Of the committee.
And I, you know, the Nigerian army looking at our armed forces, looking at the situation we find ourselves, and the critical need to get done with this thing that has been lingering for over a decade. The Nigerian government needs to stand up to it, especially now that the president declared a state of emergency in the security sector. Now, the action, he should walk the talk. He should match it, and people should see it on ground. Let me tell you the good thing. The Nigerian army, from top to bottom, are very committed. But no matter how your commitment is, if you don't have the morale booster, if you don't have the equipment, most of the army or soldiers will lose. It's not as a direct confrontation with the insurgents, but you hear more. We lost more of them by losing them by stepping on what do you call
landmines,
it? Landmines and EIDs,
right?
IEDs. Or the last time we lost about, I think, 8 or so soldiers in the Sambisa Triangle is because when the heat was on the insurgents, they had a suicide bomber who rammed into with explosives.
But you talk about...
if they had MRAPs, if they deploy MRAPs, and when they go out like this, they are covered with MRAPs, and they are covered from the top by attack helicopters. They will clear the place in a very short time.
And
I think we don't have to miss the opportunity now, because Americans were reluctant in giving us intelligence or support or whatever. But now they are willing to support us.
But the point I'm asking is that you sit in the National Assembly. You yourself were chairman of the army. You're a member of the committee on the army. And it's the National Assembly where budgets are passed. Are the funds not released, or are they being misused? And if they're being misused, why is there no Senate oversight? I mean, someone has to take responsibility for that failure. And if it's your job to pass the budget, you know all these things. I mean, you're from Borno State. Why aren't you increasing the budget or making greater oversight of the way that budget is spent?
Well, you have asked me so many. Let me take them
one. It's one simple question.
No,
really.
It's two in one, or if you want to say it. Number one is about the budget. The budget of this year, defense has the highest budget, and we are working on it. If there is the need to increase it, we would do that. But where the problem is the funding. That is where the problem. And I've been saying that.
When you say the funding, what do you mean? You mean
the releases to the armed forces,
right.
or even
so after you've approved it.
After you have approved it, the people will not be getting the money at when due.
But that's why you're the Senate. You have oversight responsibility.
Senate, if you are talking about, don't confuse the two.
No, I'm saying the committee that's in charge.
No, the executive, the committee is not in charge of releasing money.
No, I know, but you have oversight, so you can impress upon. Well, you can impress upon them the need to release.
No, we don't. I think you are getting it mixed up. Our own is to budget and approve the Appropriation Act. Then the executive will now execute.
Right.
Okay.
But you have oversight over the executive.
The oversight is to find out whether actually the agencies have utilized the money according to the specification in the Act.
So you don't have any power over saying to the executive,
we do that.
Why haven't you released the money?
We do that, but it is actually the responsibility of the executive. Once they bring the budget before us, we approve it. Why wouldn't you release it? That is the question now.
Yeah, but who's going to ask them that question?
We do ask that question, but that does not translate to the release. You see, that's why I say that the problem is when you bring a budget to the National Assembly, they approve it, you should religiously follow it.
Right.
That is not. Besides, I want to say here that I have been saying severally that the armed forces budget and other security agencies or other critical ministries, MDS, Ministries Department, should be prioritized like in America.
Right.
In America, they have what they call discretionary appropriation, discretionary budget expenditure. Then they have the non-discretionary. Those that are considered as non-discretionary, including military, are budgets that are, it's not like the Minister of Finance will choose whether to give them or not to give them, or if they say, oh, we don't have enough money on ground, so no. If it is
so dedicated amount that's there for them, and they can dip into it whenever they need to.
That's it, and they just need to.
Well, why don't you people make a law? I mean, that's the Senate again.
No, the law. That is what the law indirectly or directly even says. Right. But they are not doing it.
Yeah, but whose job it is to make sure that they do?
It is the executive.
No, I know.
The president.
But if you pass a law, isn't it your responsibility as well to make sure that law is you follow it through by making sure that it actually is real in practice?
That is in other laws. But when you talk about appropriation, it's a focus that you make on the revenue that you are going to generate or the money. So
okay, well, let's...
They will now tell you, let me end.
Sure, yeah.
They will now tell you that, we don't have money. As soon as we have money, we'll do that.
Yeah, I see what you mean. And there's not much you can do in those circumstances. Yeah. I see the point. Well, let's move on from there, because I understand that the Senate will receive a closed-door briefing on that U.S. airstrike on terrorist hideouts in Sokoto State. I'm assuming you were at plenary today. And that apparently came from Senator Ningi, who warned that any foreign military strike carried out on Nigerian territory without due constitutional process would amount to a breach of Nigeria's sovereignty, as well as a breach of the authority of the National Assembly. Tell us more about that.
But you said closed door. We have not closed the door. We have not discussed it. How can I talk about that?
Yeah, but what are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's still in the closed door that I'm supposed to do that.
Oh, you're not supposed to tell us what your thoughts are on why they...
No,
on whether or not you think because I mean...
I have my opinion, honestly.
Yeah, but he said it in open...
Yeah, in open, but it was resolved that we are going to discuss and the leadership is going to brief us.
But do you think it's a breach of the authority of the National Assembly?
No, Charles, as I told you, this is something that I will discuss. Had it been I spoke always, I will tell you my thoughts. But now, honestly, it will be immature, and I don't think it's going to be right for me to preempt what we will discuss.
Let me put it this way. You're a lawmaker. You're much more aware of the law than most of us are. What does the law say? Can any attack in Nigeria only be authorized by the president of this country?
No, the president can do that, but he must, within a certain time, seek the approval of the National Assembly. But that is going for war.
Right.
Before you engage in that, or certain activities as clearly defined. But as I said, Charles, I don't want you to drag me to speaking, on this.
Okay, I respect that. Let's turn to the new tax regime, which I presume you're prepared to speak about.
Yeah.
You've described it as faulty.
Yeah.
Faulty how? Because the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, said today, in fact, he dismissed claims that the new tax laws were altered after they were passed by the National Assembly. He said there were no discrepancies and that the version that was gazetted and the one that was signed into law by the National Assembly fully reflected legislative proceedings in both chambers. So when you say the new tax regime is faulty, is it in the design, in the timing, or in its impact on ordinary Nigerians who are already struggling?
You will agree with me that even, what do you call that guy, the chairman of the Presidential Committee on Tax Reform, Onyewole, admitted that there are, differentials, two versions or at least two versions of the tax law, and that if something has to be done, it has to be the National Assembly.
Right. So how come Godzilla Akpabio is saying it's not, there's no discrepancy?
That is his opinion. That is his opinion. And as for me, I did a lot of research on it. And the House of Rep member raised that matter, and they didn't deny it. And the House of Rep is still investigating those discrepancies. So I went in to do, and there are discrepancies. My problem is not whether there are discrepancies or not. I'm worried about doing things behind closed doors. This is government of the people, for the people, and by the people. And for God's sake, why would you hide anything, even if it is personal, if other people have interest in it, like you, in your house? How can you be personal about something that affects your family? That is it. Nigeria is for us. I mean, if it's true that such thing is not true, then it should, the government or whoever is responsible should come out clean and say, look at it. And it's the same thing about opinions. I am a senator and you call me rebel or Indian, all that. But I have the right to express my own opinion. Let somebody else come. Sometimes people come here to abuse me even. But let them come and speak their mind, for God's sake. And Nigeria is for all of us. I mean, so when you say there is a problem, then you come up and say, where is the problem? If that person said, this is the problem, then you are being fair to yourself and Nigerians. I am one of those that called on the president first. That I was one of those that identified the differences. And I called on the leadership to say, look, there is a problem here because what we passed is not what the president signed.
So why do you think Akpabio is saying there's no discrepancy?
I'm not Akpabio. So
I know, but I'm asking, you're in the, I mean, you were there in the National Assembly.
No, I was today. Not there. I went to pray, I think, when he said all this.
You went to the loo when you chose to go to the loo at that time.
No, it's not that. I would have told him this. I'm surprised. Because he's not supposed to do that. He's supposed to say, okay, we'll find out. Set up a committee, but the House has done that too, to find out.
Well, you can pick up on it tomorrow, though, can't you? Or whenever next year.
No, I'll talk to him.
Right.
I'll talk to him on that. This is not something that they can just bury. Because you know why? You cannot build on nothing. Or you cannot build on disputed grounds. You understand? What if somebody now goes to court? You think the court will not listen to them? And I mean, the way they are going about it, up initio, is full of contradiction, full of, controversy.
So what do you think they should do?
They should be more open. And this
beyond being more open,
yeah.
Do you, I mean, because they've already, it's now been implemented.
No, it's not being implemented. That is to them.
Well, it's taken effect.
It's taken effect.
Yeah.
But it can be implemented. Which one do they implement?
Right. So,
as I told you, there is out there different versions. So which one do they implement? And if you implement the one that is not favorable to me, will I call that a law?
Yeah,
no.
But what if they said that the bits that have discrepancy, because it's not the whole thing that has discrepancy, that they will look at those again and put them on hold, whilst the rest of the tax regime will go into force?
Laws are not implemented discretionarily. That is where they got it wrong. You can't, as you now just said, once you pass a budget, you have no discretion but to follow it. You don't have even the right to add anything to it, but as passed by the National Assembly. You see, these things that they take lightly means as if they are taking Nigerians lightly. And some of these people, they have personalized some of these things. Like my problem with this guy, the chairman, or what do you call his name, Oluloye, is it? Oluloye. He's so arrogant about this thing, as if it's an... No, it don't do that. There are many Nigerians. This thing is for Nigeria. If Nigerians say they don't want tax unanimously, what will you do about it? You can't. The president is president of Nigeria.
He's a servant of the people.
Thank you very much. We Nigerians are not the servant of the president. Talk less of his aide. You see how arrogant he is? I mean, this thing is going to fall on them if they don't fix it.
Well, you know, the issue of him being arrogant is a matter of perception. I mean, he sat.
Yeah, that's my perception.
Yeah, he sat where
So
you
I'm
sat,
not saying
and I actually find him to be a very pleasant person.
Okay, that is you. Me, I have no personal thing with him, but all I see is what he discusses and the way he presents it. It's not like
Right.
that.
Okay.
He is doing the wrong thing, the right thing now at the wrong time.
Right.
Up initial. Look, Nigerians are not averse to tax. Ever since I was a child, we pay some of the taxes are now not being reviewed. But even when you own a bicycle before, you pay for a license to ride that bicycle, despite the fact that you use your energy, and in most cases, it's not. Because the people are even proud to pay tax.
Yeah. They have trust in the system.
But here you are, the system has lost the confidence of the public, and you are arrogantly imposing things on them without good explanation. When you try to talk to them, somebody told me amongst them that you will not understand. What do you mean I will not understand? Me?
Yeah, that's a bit rude.
So that is the type of guys the president has around him. They don't know anything. They don't know anybody. They are just arrogant. And look at how they are messing the president. You see how they run the government. Some of these things they do is very embarrassing to the president and to Nigeria. Last time I had a friend who called me to say, look, I'm writing this thing. There are 14 of their, what do you call it? Mices that are not necessary. You check things. Today the president will announce this, and tomorrow somebody will announce again that he has reversed that. Today president will appoint somebody, or he will say they have reversed it. Today, another day president will do this, and then he will reverse it. And you know why? Because the man gave all the trust to them, which is not wrong. But they have to do the right thing. Mm-hmm. And when you talk like me now, I will not be surprised, and I'm used to it. Somebody will come up here tomorrow again because I give him right of reply. You say, oh, Ndume is frustrated. Oh, he's a rebel. Like you too, you call me. But I'm just speaking the truth. What am I supposed to do at the age of 66?
Well, let me move on, because I don't want us to run out of time without getting to the politics of 2027. You've said the North feels betrayed. Does the APC leadership actually grasp the level of anger that you say is on the ground in the North? I mean, don't they listen to people like you, or do you think they're in denial?
Well, I really, the other thing is because if I really don't want to talk about politics now, I prefer to talk about governance.
Yeah, but you did say that the North feels betrayed.
No, that is what people are saying.
And that they're quite angry.
Yeah, they are angry. And then there are a lot of other speculations and all that it's not the time for us to discuss yet.
Yeah, but if the APC leadership doesn't listen now to people like you, is it your contention that they are setting themselves up for a political shock in 2027?
That will not be, that is it. But again on it, we have a new leadership in the APC under this chairman. And coincidentally, I have a relationship with him. And
so you're hedging, are you?
No. It's just that it's not fair. Like you, Charles, if you call me, you are my friend. I knew the chairman since I was much younger. His father was a pastor in my town, and my mom was close to his mom. So you see that kind of even personal and family relationship. And he told me, look, you're not going anywhere. I'm here. If there's any issue, let's discuss. I said,
yeah, but what I'm saying, Senator, is that these things I'm mentioning are in the public domain.
Yeah.
You've said them, and they've been published in newspapers. I mean, you've warned that the APC may be thinking of declaring itself winner in 2027.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to say that is a serious charge. What are you seeing that makes you say?
No, I don't think Mr. President will think about that too. Mr. President, I think as a politician, as somebody who has gone through it all, is strategizing to win the election,
right,
but not to declare himself as the winner. No, that won't work. Because you only do that when you are when you are acceptable to the people and there's resemblance. But in the North, anybody that tells you that the North is not grumbling now is not speaking the truth.
And how loud is that grumbling?
It will be loud in their votes,
right,
if nothing is done about it.
And
you see, the good thing about it is, I have said it here before, that the president can change things, can turn things around. Okay, we understand these are the issues that you raise. Number one, you fix it, those things. Okay, number one, you didn't get this, you get it. Or number two is, what is your problem? The northern elders have been, what do you say? They have been willing, they have been reaching out. I was part of the meeting that we had, the first and the last meeting with Mr. President, where northern elders, went to him, and then he too was prepared. And so he brought all the appointees from the north, critical, appointees from the north. And we had a wonderful session. And he promised that that will continue. And it never happened. And you know why, and what I'm suspecting, is, as I've said it before, the president is not the problem. It is the people around the president that are the problem. And another thing, I can tell you, I when I was coming, I knew that you asked me this question. I wanted to even mention names, because I don't care if I'm speaking the truth. The president had good people around him when he was the governor of Lagos. That was why he succeeded.
But a lot of those same people are
No. Most of the good people are not there. They have been sidelined. And then he just picked people that don't know anybody. You know why I say don't know anybody? They only know Ikoyi and Surulere, not even Surulere, Victoria Island, and that is it. Then from there they fly to London or America, where their families are living. So they are not even full Nigerians like you, I can say.
Ouch. But anyway, look, we're almost out of time.
So
finish what you're saying.
Charles, the president is he has a lot of people that he knows politically, he built around. Even, the first candidate he supported was from the north, it didn't work. The second candidate he supported was from the north, it didn't work. The third one was the one that worked. And then even the third one did not work. Now he said, it's my turn. That is why that terminology, Amilokon, came out. I think so.
Yeah.
Okay? And now, instead of him bringing in his team that will look at him in the face and tell him the truth, he decided to surround himself by people that don't know politics.
Right. Okay. Before we go, you've said the masses, especially in the north, will resist a manufactured outcome in 2027. What does that resistance look like? Will it be at the ballot box, on the streets, or through political realignment?
It may be a combination of all. You know why? Because we have seen it before, and we have seen it in other countries. The president needs to look at this thing again and make amends. Nigerians are good at forgiving and even forgetting. Once things are turned around, I give you an example. If the way he's taking up the security matters now continues like this, and by the year by this end of this year or before the rainy seasons, you have peace or even relative peace everywhere, because you can't say you eliminate insecurity totally in the country. But when people can move, or I can now drive from here, from this year program to Kano or Kaduna without fear of being stopped on the road, kidnapped, robbed, then Nigerians would have no reason to change the leadership. But if things remain the way they are and people are not happy, how can you say now that the the voters will vote for that? No, it won't happen.
Okay. On that sober note, I want to thank you very much indeed. Senator Ali Ndume is the lawmaker representing Borno South. He was the former chief whip, and he is arguably one of the most recognizable voices in Nigeria's National Assembly. Thank you very much indeed.